welcome to my channel. My name is Kamira, and this is my review for Married at First Sight, Season 12, Episode 16, the Speak Now or Forever Hold Your Peace episode. Before I get into the video, I want to just say, if you are watching this, thank you. Thank you, thank you. I am new to YouTube, and I appreciate every view. I don't care if you say 5. I appreciate those 5. So thank you, thank you, thank you. If you want, you can go ahead and like it, comment, subscribe, you know, all that good stuff too. But okay, let's go ahead and get into the review. In the first scene, we see Hayley and Jake. She's coming home. He's already there. She's a little bit confused about why he left. She thinks that since they won the MAFSology and they wrote the letter, which was nice, that they were in a better place. But I mean, those things were nice, right? They did win the game. Okay. They did have nice things to say about each other, but like, that doesn't mean we're back, like, starting over again. Like, I don't know. But yes, anyway, he said he needed to get back to the dogs because the neighbor was unable to feed them. She says it's been ups and downs. It's been a struggle, excuse me. And I'm just like, well, what were the ups? Besides the letter and besides them winning the game? Like, what other ups? I guess the first couple of days, like the honeymoon was pretty good, I guess, but like, what were the ups? They always talk about like roller coaster, but like, what were some of the highs? Because like, I think I might have missed them. Am I tripping? But I think I missed them. Okay, next scene. Next, we see Eric and Virginia. They're in the bed with the dogs. They're talking about how they're making up quicker after disagreements. I mean, they're both kind of saying they want the same things. And she said she's worried about, no, I'm sorry. He said he's worried about decision day. And I think they all should be worried about decision day, honestly. Next, we see Ryan and Clara. They're back home. I wrote that she's delusional. She said she thinks they were meant to be. I don't know, like, I'm not really seeing it. I wrote, why does she love him? Like, name the things. Like how he had the thank you letter about, like, I thank you for loving me. I thank you for accepting me. Those are not reasons that you love somebody. Or are they? Girl, I ain't been in love in so long, so it could be, but I was just like, Clara, can you name, like, how, what was it? How Hayley and Jake did the letter to each other? And they kind of did one similar, but I don't know. I'm still not seeing it. But anyway, she asked him, you know, what has changed since before the wedding. His response was that now he has more responsibility because he's a husband. You know, he has her to consider. And she said that they have a slower pace. And to me, it gives like friend vibes, you know. One of them, I can't remember who it was, wrote light at the end of the tunnel. And is that a good phrase, right? Because I'm like, if you're in a tunnel, you see a light, that means you're going to get out of the tunnel. So I don't know, I think I heard it twice this episode from 2 different couples about the light at the end of the tunnel, and I don't know if that's a good thing. Somebody let me know. But okay, next scene. Next, we see Brianna and Vincent in the bed talking about decision day, how they think things will go, talking about the other couples, talking about how Jake and Hayley could be a curveball. We don't know. She's like, well, if it's not there, it's not there. Like, you don't want to force it. She was like, well, you don't really know until you're there on decision day. So is she giving him hints? But anyway, she brings up that he's unorganized, and she thought she could help him with it. I mean, I don't want to like say a stereotype about like men and women, but like, I mean, unorganized in what way? Is he messy around the house? Like, what are you talking about? Is it his work stuff? His clothes are not organized in drawers? Like, what do you mean by unorganized? Like, do you have everything labeled? Everything has a place? Like, what do you mean by unorganized? He gets annoyed by that. He said, that he did not ask for someone that was assertive, bossy, and direct. he said he didn't want someone that was those three things, and that him hearing bossy at the wedding was a big turnoff. And I agree. I was thinking about this yesterday driving. I was like, a loving boss. When I think about bosses I've had in the past, I wouldn't consider them like loving, or like, you know, I wouldn't put those two words in the same. I wouldn't describe them as loving. So like, I remember them saying you're going to be getting a loving boss. You don't want a loving boss. You want a loving partner. And we have not really seen her be a partner. She did not like hearing that, you know, he does not like that she's direct. But it's like she can dish it out, but she can't take it. Like, you want him to, I guess, you know, fix him being unorganized. However, he's saying, hey, you're a little bit bossy. I don't really like that. Can you fix that? She's like, no, but you can fix being unorganized. Like, girl, you gotta give and take. But okay, anyway, next scene, we see the people meeting up with their friends. First, we see Jake and Adam. He just talks about it's been frustrating. Nothing really from the conversation besides that. Next, we see Ryan and his friend. They're playing a game. He's weighing the pros and cons of being with Clara. He said good things about her. He knows why they were matched, which I don't know. I wish he would say them. Like, they all kind of say that like a blanketed statement. I see why we were matched. Can you tell us so we can kind of see it too? Because, you know, we can be like, oh, okay, I do see that. But as of right now, I'm just not really seeing it. He says, you know, they're still learning and time is winding down. He says she's super vocal and talking about her feelings every day, non-stop. He said, sometimes I want to talk about sports or movies. I find that interesting that she's always talking about feelings, but she's not really telling him how she really feels. So like, girl, what are you talking about? Are you talking about how you want him to, you know, be in love with you? Like, you're talking about feelings, but you're not really saying how you are really feeling. So I'm a little confused. But okay, next scene. I missed the part. When Ryan was talking to his friend, the friend asked what was the biggest obstacle. He said goal setting together and like making life goals, personal goals, professional goals, long-term goals. And Clara, they did a flashback, and you know, she was just the whole donut thing. Like, I feel like I'm at a seminar thing comment she made, and you know, they're not really on the same page with that. But anyway, oh, that's what the friend asked. The friend said, do you think y'all are on the same page? Ryan says, that's a good question, but he didn't have a chance to answer. They cut to the next scene. So now, next scene, we see Brianna talking to her mom on Zoom or FaceTime, whatever it was. She said the decision is harder than she thought it would be. She's nervous. At first, she was sure, but now she's having doubts. She mentioned this him being unorganized again, and I still need clarity. You know, they talk about how he's easily embarrassed, and you know, what if that becomes a bigger issue with him being embarrassed, which it definitely could be. Her mom mentioned how communication is important, but I wrote, you know, not just for him. It's important both ways. And I don't think she gets that she also plays a role in communication, you know, kind of being off. Like, I don't know, like, he's not your child. Like, you guys are supposed to be trying to compromise, work together, and she seems like stuck in her ways. But anyway, okay. The mom said, you know, being bossy. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Brianna said him talking about her being bossy is like a jab at her character. I wrote that her mom is like making excuses for her, saying like it's not a bad thing and you've always been like that. You're very particular. Those are kind of like things she can kind of break out of, or like, you know, I mean, make some adjustments. Like, no one's asking you to change who you are. Just kind of make some adjustments to fit your marriage and what you guys want it to be, in my opinion. But anyway, she said, you know, she's worried that what if she says yes and he says no, or vice versa. And I wrote, you know, you're trying to change him, but not trying to change yourself. Again, like I just said. She said she don't want to have to change herself because she's done that in the past. Her mom said, well, I don't think you're going to change. So it may not work. And it may not work. Okay, next scene. In the next scene, I was a little frustrated with Clara in this scene. Clara's talking to her friend, talking about how she's confident in her decision to say yes on decision day. She says the best part about being married is having someone to do stuff with. She has a built-in friend that's stuck with me. He's not stuck with you. Anyway, the friend asked her about challenges. This is where I get frustrated. Challenges that they're having. So they flash back to her talking to the girls about, you know, her being frustrated sexually and the whole I love you thing. She did not tell her friend those two things. So I go back to last week because she was like, you know, her friends or people are asking her all the time, are you changing yourself in the marriage? So who's asking you that and you're not telling them, you're not like fully disclosing information to them? So Clara, I'm confused, but no, she did not tell her friend about the I love you and about sex. She did not. She says they're a 10 out of 10. She has no complaints. Her friend asked, what would you do if he said no? She said, oh no, he wouldn't do that. Okay, all right, next scene. In the next scene, we see Hayley meeting with her friend. She says she has run from relationships for about 7 years. And I'm just like, that's what you're doing now. She says she's been open and wanted it to work. It's been an emotional roller coaster. And I was like, yeah, for the viewers too. Just like the people that's not on here right now. But just like with those, it was a roller coaster with us too. She said that her red flags was that he was 38. And he had never been married and he was single. And he had no major life changes or events in the last 10 years. But Hayley, you're single too. You signed up for this show too. What was your major events besides you lived in another country, I think it was, at some point? Why? It's like she's judging him. Like, she thinks she's better than him. I think someone said that on another review I watched. She thinks she's better than him. Like, Hayley, anyway, she said the good things were that he's a good dog dad, he's loyal, he did the process, which is he was single, so he had to do the process if he was single, which you don't like that he was 38 and single, but okay. Anyway, the friend says, well, what if he called tomorrow and said, let's work on things? She was like, well, maybe. I don't care. I don't know. I don't know what I would do. But remember at the beginning, I cannot say what episode it was, but I remember Jake saying that one of his fears was that Hayley would start to lean in more as he pulls back, or that like she would be into it when he no longer was. He worded it maybe a little bit differently, but it was kind of the same, you know, same idea, same concept or whatever. And it kind of seems like it's happening now. She kind of leaning in a little bit more, being a little bit nicer. And he's just like, well, I don't know what we're going to do. But, okay, next scene. In the next scene, we see Eric talking to his friend from the wedding. He says he understands why they were matched and that he's lucky. Again, can you guys tell us why you think you guys were matched? Because I'm kind of curious too. Anyway, he says, yeah, he sees them, you know, being together in the long haul. They can't solve issues or resolve, issues quickly. He talks about how her childhood was tough and how talking about her childhood does kind of bring them a little bit closer together, which is, you know, I think that's what couples do, you know. The friend asks, well, what do you think her issue with you was? He says, well, I'm very passionate about what I'm saying. What about demanding? What about overbearing? I'm like, giving ultimatums is not a word, but like, what's the word for that? Because that too. But anyway, my TV glitched right here for a good 2 minutes straight. When it came back on, it was back on Ryan and Clara. So let's get into what I did pick up on Ryan and Clara. They were doing a compatibility quiz. And, you know, it's important for people to like me. Oh, she had that question. She was like, I don't know. But yet, you're sitting here hoping and wishing and praying that Ryan likes you, but that's not important to you. Anyway, I was just like, you know, she's not a deep thinker. She said it's not important to do great things with her life, and he just looked worried and confused and scratching his head as she was answering questions. I mean, Clara is, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, but anyway, next scene. We see Vincent talking to his cousin on Zoom. He says, you know, it hasn't been easy. We can all see that too. But, you know, overall, they've had a good time. He says he doesn't know about decision day because they have had bumps in communication. He mentions the 5.5 hour drive. She said he was unorganized after they got home and got settled. That's what I was like, is it because he put his clothes on the floor? Is it, what did he do that was unorganized? You know, he mentioned the bossy comments at the wedding, and the friend was like, well, you know, don't you want somebody that's going to be honest with you and direct with you? I don't think Vincent wanted that. He said he's a fear because he has dealt with that in the past. And I wish they would kind of go into more detail, like, I don't know. Anyway, the friend says, does the good outweigh the bad? We didn't get a chance to answer that because they cut to the next scene. So in the next scene, we see Virginia talking to one of her guy friends, Aaron, and she talks about, you know, her personal space, how she needs her personal space. She says, you know, she don't know what to really expect because she's never been married. Some of her reservations are emotional things get heated, and they have a cycle of fight, makeup, fight, and it's just like they do. We have all seen it. And she wonders if their connection is strong enough for the real world. Then she calls her friend on Zoom, talking about how they have these recurring fights surrounding her going out. And the friend was like, well, is there a lack of trust, or I want to spend time with you? And she said, you know, she didn't really answer that. She said she's going to have to live in the condo at some point. So she did finally come to that realization that, yes, it may be for a short period of time, but you may have to live there for a while. So she did mention that. She says she loves him. She thinks he's amazing, but it's harder than she thought it was going to be, and that she is still unsure about decision day, which is in like 2 days. But okay. All right, next scene, we see the couples are going on dates. First up, we see Ryan and Clara. I think the place is called Pins and Strikes. I've heard of it before. They have the footballs and you throw them at the bowling balls. Yeah. So he said, you know, he values his one-on-one time with Clara. Long story short, she did not enjoy the date. He asked her what was the best part. She says they're like a puzzle, like 2 puzzle pieces that fit together so well, perfectly, and that they communicate well. He says they have a unique bond through this experience. He says that no matter what happens on decision day, he'll be there for her, or they'll have that bond no matter what. Her face, if she was really talking about how she really feel, I want to know what she was feeling in that moment, because her face was just like, here we go with this. She was like, can we talk about this in a positive light? She got an attitude. She walked out. Ryan was sitting there like a little kid, like, what happened? What did I do? What did I do? What did I do? Anyway, okay, next scene. Next, we see Brianna and Vincent having dinner. He said, you look nice. She was like, I know. I was like, girl, say thank you. But anyway, she talked about how they used to try to shield each other's feelings from like uncomfortable conversations, but she was like, not anymore. He said, you know, he was trying to be open, in my opinion. He said that he notices that he does shut down and can sometimes, you know, be a jerk. He says he felt judged about him being unorganized comment, and it's hard for him to ask for help, which is a real thing. Like, she has to give him some grace, in my opinion. Anyway, she says she wants to feel comfortable talking. She wants him, to feel comfortable talking to her about anything. She said she was sad about the turnoff comment. I mean, you know, he was being honest. I don't think it's fair for her to, like, want to be honest with him, but, like, not be able to receive it. I mean, he probably could have softened it up a little bit, but, you know, she said she was sad about that, and that she doesn't see being bossy as a bad thing. I don't know. Okay, little quick, like, segue. I talked to my friend about, you know how you've seen women who are, like, kind of mean to people, or, like, not mean, but, like, assertive, aggressive, direct, right, with, like, the outside world. But, like, when they're with their dudes, they are way softer. And I feel like she has to kind of find that balance, because, you know, in her career, she probably is more, like, assertive and direct. But, like, you can soften it up a little bit, you know, with your husband, in my opinion. You know, he said he's dealt with that before, and it didn't work out well. And she was just like, you know, I'm going to say what I want to say. Okay, and he can decide to stay or go. You know, that's a decision that he can make based off of your decision, you know. And she says, you know, and I agree with this, what she said. She said staying together means more than them first coming together. And I agree. The song, like, they're not gonna make it, it's, like, always running through my head when I see pretty much all these couples. Not even pretty much. All these couples, but anyway. Okay, next scene. Next, we see Hayley and Jacob at dinner. I wrote down fluff because there was no major takeaway. She said she's gained a lot of communication skills. We haven't seen them. He said patience under pressure and his fashion sense have been impacted, I guess, by this process. They did flashback to when they had good things to say to each other, and that was the only good scene. I think that was like the favorite scene from them two this whole season. And nothing else really sticks out to me that they have done that was enjoyable between the two of them, where they were both having fun. I mean, but anyway, they both said they're nervous about decision day, and but like, Hayley, why are you nervous when, like, I'm confused. Like, are you nervous that he's gonna say no, or that he's gonna say yes and you're gonna look bad? Like, which one are you nervous about? Because I'm a little confused. Okay, next we see Eric and Virginia. They go out for drinks. He says he wants to say yes and continue working on it. He says he loves being around her. He loves her smile. It's contagious, and he loves her so much. He gets a little choked up talking about it, and that he doesn't want to lose that. So you know what Virginia did, right? She wasn't going for it. She wasn't going for it. I wrote down, her face did not change. She did not seem moved by him getting emotional. And I was kind of like, is he kind of being, like, slick manipulative in this moment with this whole, like, fake emotional thing? Let me not say fake emotional thing, but, like, I mean, because you do kind of, you can get choked up talking about somebody who you love, so I get that. But anyway, Virginia said the standards need to be agreed upon. If they say yes, it doesn't mean their problems will be fixed. I agree. Eric says, I do trust you. I just don't want to be disrespected. She was being snarky and said, she wants a list of all the things she can do that would make him feel disrespected. Why do you need a list? Like, girl, you have common sense. Like, well, like, I don't understand. He said, if you feel like something is disrespectful, let me know so I won't do those things. And he kind of wants that in return with her, and she's just like, well, give me the list. Girl, she brings up, soulmates, and saying she don't believe in soulmates. and that he may have thought his ex-wife was the one, but clearly he was wrong because they're divorced. And she's like, well, now you think it's me, you could be wrong again. And I'm just like, well, Virginia, which way are you leaning? Like, it's kind of cryptic and confusing to me. Yeah, I don't know. He wasn't emotional for long though before he got back into Eric mode. So was it fake? Was it manipulative? Was it real? I don't know. What y'all think? Next, we see the couples back home from their dates. We see Ryan and Clara. Clara says that he's holding back sex and emotion, but she's also holding back how she really feels. She said, and then we'll be husband and wife forever. You keep telling him what you're gonna say on decision day. Has he told you? Like you're saying, I'm gonna say yes on decision day. Has Ryan said, I'm gonna say yes on decision day? Is my question to Clara. It's just like he don't seem to really share that. I don't know, but he did say nice things about her, which does not mean he's gonna say yes on decision day. He says she's bold, non-judgmental, but he has a lot to think about for sure. We know that. Anyway, next they cut to Brianna and Vincent. He's helping her get her. She had on some, like, I think, what's that? Some, not thigh, but some boots that were up to her knee, I think. Helped her get those off. He says he does love her and she means a lot to him, but he's nervous. They go over the Spanish word for sleep, which I think he pronounced it dormir or dormir. Girl, what you doing? I don't know, but anyway, this next scene was so stupid to me. Like, bruh, have you ever dated a black girl before? I'm sure you have, Vincent. You should know better than this, but let me tell y'all what he did. They get in the bed. He says, I have a surprise for you. She was like, a good surprise? He was like, yeah, a great surprise. He tells this girl to close her eyes, and this man pulls out a pair of scissors and cuts one of her braids. He did cut the bottom part where, like, you know, the part that's still straight. So he didn't cut the actual braid itself. And he did cut it far down so where she could still wear her hair, you know, like that. But I just didn't understand why he did that. What kind of surprise is that? First of all, he was like, well, you said you want to take your hair down. We about to go to sleep. We're in the bed to go to sleep. Am I about to sit here right now and do it? Like, that was the dumbest thing. And he looked like he knew it too. In his confessional, he was just looking like worried, like a child. He knew he had messed up. He was rubbing his head. I was just like, why? Why would you do that? Why? And I know parents, me personally, I'd be just like, why would you do that? Like, my son, he's 4. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Like, but I would just be like, why? Why are we doing this right now? Like, what's happening? And I felt like that in that scene. Like, but to be honest, I would be annoyed too. But it wasn't a front. He didn't cut like up here. But Vincent, do better. You can't want to have kids and then be the kid. Like, come on, Vincent. We all are rooting for you, I think. I'm rooting for you separately. But, okay, anyway. Next scene. Next, we see Hayley and Jacob. I noticed that everybody else was filming their scenes, like in the bed together. They were in the living room. And, you know, I wrote, she was kind of being nice, but they're having the same talk over and over and over. Excuse me. Jake says he knows why they were matched, and what if they had more time? What if they had more time? I don't know. They could surprise us. They could really be the curveball for real, how like Vincent and them said, and just surprise everybody, but I don't see it. I mean, more time to do what? More time for her to look at you like you smell, and for you to be snarky with her little comments. So more time to do what? Because, like, there's no chemistry. There's no connection. There's no... You can't tell y'all like each other. I don't know. But anyway. All right, next we see Eric and Virginia. And she don't seem to like when he's being affectionate. It's like she cringes. Am I the only one that's noticing that? But I want to say he was like trying to hug her from the back or something, but she was just like, ew, like, get off me. Anyway, she said she still has doubts and it could be their last night ever. She's still on the fence. And I don't think Eric understands like how on the fence she really is. I wrote down, you know, he was over talking, thinking it's gonna help her like say yes or have like a positive effect. And I wrote down it could be having the absolutely opposite effect. Like, I think he's trying to like talk her into saying yes, and he could really be kind of pushing her towards saying no. In my opinion, he said he knows she's the one he wants. She said moving in has her a little bit worried. He did finally agree to put the place up for rent, and he said he wants to do everything he can to please her. To me, I wrote down he's all in, 100% is what he said. She was like, we'll see. I can't do the voices like Bundy Blue, but she did the little baby voice and said, well, we'll see. Anyway, okay, it is now the last day before decision day. The couples have to spend the day alone to decide, you know, what they're going to do. Like, really sit down and weigh the pros and cons. Okay? All right, so as they're leaving now, we see Brianna and Vincent. She said she's deciding her fate. She felt alone and like no one understood her when she was single. And it feels like that because I'm single. So I know it do feel like that sometimes. But, you know, she doesn't want to hurt him, but she also has to put herself first. And I agree with that. You know, if you don't think he's the right one, go ahead and, you know, say no, whatever. You know, he said it's scary. He said it's nice knowing you and walked off. She was like, what does that mean? Another time, I am annoyed with Vincent. I mean, you can give her a hug, give her a kiss, give her, you know, some kind words, like, you know, no matter what happens, you know, like how Ryan did, even though he's not a good example as like a husband in this situation, but, you know, like that was weird to me because they seem to have the most chemistry. And he was just like, nice knowing you. Like a hug, a kiss, something. Like, I thought that was the weirdest thing. Like, and for him to say nice knowing you, that means you ain't gonna see me no more. That's how I would take it. Like, I just thought that was odd. And I think Brianna did too. Yeah, next thing. Next, we see Ryan getting ready for his day alone. Clara said, you know, it's hard to date in your late 20s. And I was just like, girl, try in your 30s. Because I'm in my 30s. I ain't going to say how old I am. But it's hard, okay? And y'all in Atlanta, so am I. Girl, it is hard. But anyway, she said she hopes that he's feeling what she's feeling. He's not. If you guys are talking about feelings so much to where he's annoyed by it, he would have told you by now if you guys were feeling the same thing. So he's not. But anyway, he gave her a kiss before he left. Vincent, like, and I was like, he don't even like her like that, and gave the girl a kiss. And you supposed to be in love with Brianna and was just like, well, nice knowing you. Anyway, all right, next we see Jake and Hayley. She said things have gotten better one day before decision day. Hayley, girl, if you would have gotten over yourself a whole lot sooner, I wish somebody was like there to call her out on like, or say like BS, because like, I don't know, she said he's loyal, dependable, and a good guy. And I noticed that there was like an awkward silence between them before he left out the door, and the song that was playing was like something. I won't give up on you. It just kept repeating. I won't give up on you. And I'm just like, she's talking about, you know, how he's a good guy. Why wasn't he a good guy? They could just wear a graphic t-shirt. I wear them all the time. I had a whole little online thrift store with them. I don't know, but you know, she's kind of rethinking it, and he said if they need more time, so I mean, when they stop filming, they'll still have time. I mean, that's not the end of the world when y'all stop filming, because if I'm not mistaken, you have like a year. You have to be separated before you can get divorced in most states, right? So, I mean, they'll have time to kind of see if it's gonna work or not. But anyway, next we see Eric in Virginia. He's getting ready to leave also. He said that he's nervous. They both think they're headed in the right direction, which I don't really know how, because you guys aren't agreeing on a whole lot, but whatever. They talk about his standards of marriage and what he expects of her. And she was like, I don't like that word expects, because that means I have to do those things. Anyway, she said she's stressed, she's anxious. She said she's not going to waste her time on something she doesn't see going anywhere. And then there was like a long camera on her, then like dun 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 dun, like this suspenseful music or whatever. I was just like, okay. I did not see the previews for the next episode, but it's decision day, and I've only seen a few clips of it. So I'm excited to see. As of right now, my predictions are that none of them are gonna say yes. Yeah, right. Okay, I think maybe Brianna and Vincent, and maybe Eric and Virginia. Am I rooting for any of them? Together, no. Separately, I want all of them to win, yes. But like together, I don't really see it with many of the couples, all the couples, okay? So anyway, you guys, that was the end of my review. I want to say thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. I am also reviewing Married at First Sight, Unmatchables, and Ready to Love. So go ahead and subscribe and check out those videos as well. And I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.